Hi guys, take a look at this tiny little camera. This is a medium format camera, if you can believe it. A big, beautiful 100 megapixel medium format sensor, and this thing is also modular. It can be 3 cameras in one. A regular digital camera, you can convert your film cameras, and also you could use it as a technical camera. Now, I have only been using this for a couple of weeks, and it has already taken my favorite photo of all time. We need to talk about it. Much like me, this camera is gorgeous and provides a very unique experience. But again, like me, that is going to cost you. This is the Hasselblad 907X with the CFE 100C digital back. And the only cameras that I have that rival this thing in terms of build quality and price are my Leica cameras. I don't talk about those a ton on the channel. This is primarily a budget gear channel. So when Hasselblad reached out and asked would I do a couple of videos on this thing in exchange for the camera and the lens, I thought, this is great. First of all, thank you very much. Secondly, I can talk about why this camera is very different than my budget gear. And oddly, one of the biggest differences is that my budget gear can do a whole lot more. I like to shoot a lot of video with my cameras, especially my Sony cameras. They can take great photos and they can take great 4K or 8K video. This thing can't take video at all. Not 720p, not 1080, nothing. It is a photography camera. It is a very specific type of camera for a specific type of person. And because it's modular, you can actually attach the digital back to their Film V cameras and adapt your old Hasselblad V cameras to the digital age. You can also make it a technical camera with a V plate adapter. And while the 907X takes the XCD lenses, you can also adapt the V lenses if you want. So if you have any of the Hasselblad gear, you can still get this digital back and then have a system going forward. I think that's really cool. This has got a real vintage look to it. You can buy an optional OVF that will have the markings for your XCD lenses, the 28, the 38, and the 55, but I am just using it as a waist level. You can tilt the screen 90 degrees or 40 degrees, depending on your angle. And a lot of people are going to want this for studio portrait work, where those 100 megapixels can come in really handy, or landscape photography. But of course, you can also use it for street photography, which is what I tend to do. And I really like it for street photography because you hold it down here. First of all, a different type of experience, very comfortable ergonomically and mentally for me, because people don't see a camera up to my eye. I don't feel like I'm intruding at all. I'm just looking down here at the screen, holding it waist level, taking my shots. A lot of times people are just curious about the camera. They come up and they ask me, what is it? How does it work? I've had some nice conversations about it, and you can just click the shutter button down here with your index finger. You can also do the exposure compensation here. If you hold down this button on the side, you can manipulate your exposure comp right there. So it really doesn't look like you're taking a lot of photos. And sometimes I also hang it around my neck and I use the app and just press the shutter button on the app as people walk past me. It's a lot of fun because as vintage looking as this camera is, the technology inside is extremely advanced. You would expect nothing less from the company that went to the moon, but their app integration is so great. You can send full-size resolution photos right to your app, zip it over Wi-Fi. You can also control the camera and all of the settings from the app. Very snappy and responsive. It also has 16-bit color depth and 15 stops of dynamic range. That big, beautiful 100 megapixel sensor, so your images just absolutely fly off the screen. I love the way the images look straight out of camera, and Hasselblad's color science is second to none. With all those colors and dynamic range, you can manipulate your photos to your heart's content. However, I find they look really, really good straight out of camera with just the Hasselblad color science. I barely have to touch them. With the build, you have a 3.2-inch touchscreen that is very responsive, 2.36 million dots of resolution, and the Hasselblad user-friendly interface. It is really user-friendly, very easy to find everything you are looking for. The camera is engineered immaculately. You really know you are using a premium product the minute you look at it or feel it in your hands or wherever else you would like to put put it, it has a slot for a CF Express B card as well as a generous battery. But the camera also has 1 terabyte of internal storage. I wish all camera manufacturers would do that. 1 terabyte. I haven't even used a card in this camera. I just use the internal memory and then I zip it over to my computer with the USB-C cord. You plug in the USB-C cord on the side. You have mounting ports on the bottom, and the new hot shoe adapter can be utilized for flash accessories, on-camera flash, or a professional flash trigger. The camera is capable of high-speed flash sync, but the shutter is not on the sensor itself, it is in the lens. It's a leaf shutter in these Hasselblad lenses. Having a 100 megapixel sensor opens up a lot of options that you might not have thought of until you have a 100 megapixel sensor. Take a look at this image, for example. This is framed up with no cropping the way I liked it. I saw a bunch of people on their phones waiting for a streetcar. They all looked like zombies to me, staring at their phones in the same way, so I took a quick shot. But if I crop in, it actually becomes a different picture, because there is a man who has what seems to be a throwback Walkman from maybe the 80s. He has Walkman earphones on with a wire going down, and he is actually reading a magazine or some kind of pamphlet. So the juxtaposition of the old with the new people with their wireless earbuds staring into a screen, I thought that was interesting, and maybe that's the way I would go with the photo. And because it's 100 megapixels, I still have plenty of megapixels after that massive crop. Here's another example. I saw a customer in a doorway that happened to be wearing boots that exactly match the color of the chairs that are outside. So I could just leave the photo as is, or I could really crop in and highlight only the boots and the chairs. Now, as I've mentioned, this is an intentional camera. It is not a spray and pray type of camera. You do have to think about your shot. You have to slow down and take your time. If you are going to try to rely on the autofocus, it does have phase detect autofocus and face recognition, and those do work well, but they don't work quickly. So if you want to get a subject moving quickly towards you and you want to fire off a burst rate, you aren't going to get a very good hit rate out of that. You want to carefully compose your shot, take your time, hit the shutter just when you think the time is right. If you want to use this more as a street photography camera where you are firing things off quickly for the decisive moment, then I would suggest you just switch the lens into manual mode, which is very cool. With one click right here, you can switch into manual mode by pulling up the focus ring, and then you have your distance markings, and you can do things like zone focusing, and as people are coming towards you, you can shoot off as fast as you want. Now let me talk about my favorite photo that I've ever taken, which I took with this 907X CFV 100C. It was of my 2 boys. They were going to picture day at school. Those outfits they chose themselves, and I just loved the way that all of the colors looked, and they were on that step there. So I just grabbed this thing. It was in my hand. I was about to go out and take some test shots after I dropped them off at school, took a quick photo, and when I saw the result, I was blown away. It is not my most artistic photo. I'm not going to submit it into any contest, but it is my favorite photo of those 2 kids. That medium format look to me almost looks like a 3D effect where the subjects are just coming out of the frame. It just looks so great to me, and I will always be grateful to this camera for taking that shot. Now, you do have to remember, unlike the X2D series, this Hasselblad does not have any image stabilization. So you're going to have to hold it nice and still, and you don't want your shutter speed to drop too low, or you are going to get some blurry photos. You also have to deal with that slow autofocus, and if you don't buy the optional OVF, you are relegated to using a screen at all times, no matter how bright the conditions are. And of course, we have the price. This thing, body alone, is $8,200 USD. Although I think I just saw a sale on B&H and Adorama, which was like $800 off. So that is pretty good. But even $800 off, this is still a very pricey camera. But if you look at the reviews of this thing, the people who have bought it do not regret it at all. So I would suggest, if you are very interested in it, take a look at a rental house, take it around for a weekend, see if it floats your boat, because it is definitely not the cheapest camera in the world, but for some people it will be worth every penny. But you let me know down below, do you own a medium format camera? Have you played with a medium format camera? If so, what was the brand? What did you think about it? We will have a nice little discussion about it. Thanks for watching this. We'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.